why I recommend chemical spraying when somebody asks me on social media or Facebook. So if you're interested in gardening, homesteading, cooking, with a little touch of history on the side, please hit the subscribe button and the bell, and you'll get more videos like today's great video on why I recommend non-organic pesticides. Recommending spraying when somebody asks me a question is always a little bit risky. There's a very vocal group of organic people, and they don't like somebody telling you something else. But there's a reason I recommend the pesticides. And there's 4 reasons, actually, that cover most of the times I recommend it. First reason is somebody just asked me. They want to know, what do I use to kill bindweed? Or what do I use to kill hoary crest? Or what do, how do I take care of this? If they're asking that question and not specifically asking for organic, then chances are they're going to use whatever's recommended, and they probably want the quicker, easier solution. There are times when I will tell them your best option is to do it this way, or you actually can do it this way organically, but usually they look at my other options and go, I'll go with the chemical, because they're interested in doing it quick and easy. And the second reason is when somebody comes in and say, I want to kill something on my property. I need to get rid of this plant. I want an organic solution, but I don't have a lot of time, so I need something I can spray on it. Okay, I'll go ahead, and most of the time I'm going to recommend just a standard chemical, because this person has made it clear that they want the easy way. Again, there are times when I'll tell them the more difficult way, and you can tell they're kind of scratching their head, and usually they say, well, I'll go the easier way. And that shows itself in the way they ask the question. And it also shows that they're not going to be satisfied with the time or the intensity that they need to do to have a non-chemical or a really, truly organic solution. The third reason is when the chemical is the safer way. Now, if you're dealing with something like poison hemlock or giant hogweed or poison ivy, there's the contact with the skin you have to worry about. I don't want somebody getting a rash. I don't want an increased chance of what could be a prolonged illness in the case of something like giant hogweed. And again, the organic solutions just are not going to take care of it quick enough. So I have to compromise on that and say, listen, for what you're asking for, you really need to go with the safer route. And that's a matter of respecting the situation the person's in. It is cool to do things organically, but again, if there becomes an undue risk, it's not cool anymore. And the fourth reason, and this is kind of similar to the third reason, but the fourth reason is the alternatives that are being recommended will cause more damage. Anybody that's been on social media or has a gardening friend, or just about everyone, certainly on YouTube, knows about the vinegar, soap, salt, weed killer. Quite simply put, for the environment of your garden, that's a lot more dangerous than, say, Roundup. For your own personal health, I don't see that Roundup's any less dangerous. I know there are people that are going to slam me and say all sorts of things. The science just doesn't hold out that Roundup is, public enemy number one for causing problems. There are some things you need to be aware of, as you should be with all chemicals, including vinegar and salt and soap. But the balance is you're going to do more damage by using just what's not really made to do it. It's not been tested. I suspect that a soap company came up with it. I cannot prove that, but I suspect they did. And it's like, well, if a corporation came up with it, is that any better than a corporation that comes up with something and at least tests it properly for health and safety? Well, yeah, probably not. So I'm going to recommend a chemical solution then. Now, this isn't to say that you shouldn't do organic stuff. If you can go out and if you can get a hoe and if you can pull weeds and if you can do some of these things, it is great control. You'll get a much better connection with your garden. You'll get your hands in the soil, which you're not going to do a spraying. And that there are studies. I don't know if I would call them conclusive yet, but there are studies that show that getting your hands in the soil is good for your depression. It's good for you feeling good. And weeding will do that, and that's great, and I recommend that. But at the end of the day, I have to look at my recommendations and say, am I serving that person that's asking the question? Am I best serving the person that's asking the question? And sometimes the answer is no, the organic solution is not best for that person. It's not accomplishing what they need. It's not accomplishing what they're asking for. And so I will respond accordingly. Now, I'm going to put this in here, and this should go without saying. But if you're going to use a pesticide, an insecticide, an herbicide, a fungicide, or anything like that, the law is you read the label. You need to read the whole label. Certainly the first time you use it. You're supposed to do it every time you use it. I know realistically that's not going to happen. But you should at least always check your dosage. Make sure that you're not relying on memory on your safety equipment, your dosage, and all that jazz. And these things do change. So you need to read that label, and you need to get familiar with it, and you need to keep on reading it. And I know it's dry, it's boring. The layout on them is usually horrible. But the label is the law and is that way to keep you safe. That's one of the things I actually don't like about the home mixtures is some of those are not safe and nobody ever tells you to use any protective equipment. That really ruins my trust with some of these people that recommend these. Anyway, that's enough. There are reasons why I do recommend pesticides, and I recommend you consider them. Please be aware. Thank you so much. If you're interested in gardening, homesteading, cooking, and a little bit of history, please hit the subscribe and the bell, and we'll catch you later. Manana.